would the football world look like if all the clubs from the top 5 European leagues were randomized? Would we still for the most part have the same league winners everywhere? Would there be a league that would be considered the league of death because it would be the most difficult? What about the Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League? What clubs would qualify for that every year? It would all depend on the quality of each league and what clubs would be participating there. So today, my dear friends, the Premier League, the Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A, and Liga are all randomized. Who knows what we're gonna get? Maybe Real Madrid, PSG, Arsenal, and Manchester City all end up in the same league. As I always say, let the madness begin. So the first thing we gotta do, guys, is seed all the 96 clubs into the 5 European leagues randomly. You can see there's a total of 96 names or clubs in the draw, 20 current clubs from the Premier League, 20 from Serie A, 20 from La Liga, and 18 from the Bundesliga and Liga. And once I click on the magic box, it will give us 20 clubs that will be playing in the Premier League. 3, 2, 1. Those 20 random clubs are Lens, Lille, Mainz, Real Madrid, Athletic Club Bilbao, Como, Heidenheim, Valencia, Nice, Osasuna, Bochum, Rayo Vallecano, Forest, Venezia, Inter Milan, Leganes, Saint-Etienne, Stuttgart, Lyon, and Borussia Dortmund. So we got Real Madrid, Athletic Club Bilbao, Lyon, Borussia Dortmund, and Inter Milan and Nottingham Forest in the same league. And although it does feel a little top heavy, I feel like it gives a lot of the smaller clubs a chance to qualify for Europe here. Maybe a club like Osasuna or Como can get into a European spot if they played in a league like this. We're gonna find out. We got the 20 clubs that will be in the Prem. Now we need the 20 clubs that will be in La Liga. And the La Liga table will look like this. Rem, Frankfurt and Wolves, Rennes, Spurs, West Ham, Getafe, Roma, Sevilla, and Mallorca, Bayern Munich, Everton, Man City, Real Valladolid, AC Milan, Leicester City, Genoa, Brentford, Bayer Leverkusen, and Le Havre. La Liga will definitely be much tougher because Spurs and Bayern Munich, Man City, Bayer Leverkusen, AC Milan are all in there. But then you also got Frankfurt, Roma, Sevilla, Brentford, West Ham United, Mallorca. Is La Liga so far the current league of death? From La Liga to Serie A, guys, another 20 clubs that will be playing in the top division of Italian football. Atletico Madrid and Chelsea, Torino, Bournemouth, and Monza, St. Pauli, Augsburg, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Real Betis, Parma, Crystal Palace, Lecce, PSG, Fiorentina, Wolfsburg, Newcastle, Atalanta, Union Berlin, Southampton, and Freiburg. I don't know. Serie A might be tougher than La Liga. Atletico Madrid, Chelsea, PSG, Newcastle, Atalanta, Fiorentina, Crystal Palace, and Freiburg could also be some dark horses. Maybe even Bournemouth. There's only 2 leagues left to seed, and it's going to be 20 clubs again, but there's only 36 clubs remaining, so we're going to take the 18 clubs, the first 18 clubs that come up, and the last 2 will go into the last league. So let's see what the Bundesliga will look like. Only 18 clubs though. Ipswich Town, Empoli, Juventus, Hellas Verona, Brighton, Auxerre, Liverpool, RB Leipzig, Cagliari, Udinese, Espanyol, Barcelona, Lazio, Brest, Celta Vigo, Holstein Kiel, UD Las Palmas, and Aston Villa. Nantes and Angers will stay in Ligue in the final league and join the other 16 clubs that remain. I don't know, the Bundesliga could also be quite tough. You got Juventus, Liverpool, and Barcelona, and Lazio and Aston Villa all in the same league, guys. This is what Ligue 1 will look like, and don't forget that Nantes and Angers will join these clubs in Ligue 1. It will be Deportivo Alaves, Marseille, Toulouse, Girona, and Hoffenheim. Bologna, Monaco, Arsenal, Real Sociedad, Man United, Villarreal, Fulham, Strasbourg, Napoli, Bremen, Montpellier, Angers, and Nantes. Some big boys here as well, guys. Marseille, Bologna, Monaco, Arsenal, Man United is here. Villarreal, Fulham, and Napoli. Liga might get very interesting. Who's going to be winning it?
2,000 years later.
Okay, wow, that actually took forever. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't think it's going to take that long, but that took forever. Rearranging the 5 leagues, it's done. It's done. This, the Premier League, as you can see, the Premier League, there's the Premier League table. Liga, McDonald's is also done with Arsenal and Man United United being in there, Villarreal and Bremen. There is your Bundesliga table, just like the Magic Box gave it to us. Your Serie A table, just like the Magic Box gave it to us, with PSG and Newcastle and Torino and Wolfsburg. And the La Liga table, that is also done, guys. So let's go to the end of season 1, guys. See who wins all the leagues, who gets relegated, and see who wins all the European competitions. I got a feeling come a couple of seasons later, things are going to look completely different. By the way, because this took forever to do, please continue watching the video. Thank you. Thank you. Let us begin the end of season 1 of the randomized top 5 leagues, and we are starting in the Premier League, where it was not Real Madrid. It was actually Inter Milan, followed by Dortmund, followed by Real Madrid, and Lille finished in 4th. So Inter Milano wins the Premier League, Stuttgart in 6th, Nice and Forest round off the top 8. This is a very, very close and competitive table, as you guys can see. The 3 clubs that are relegated, Heidenheim, Saint-Etienne, and Venezia, while Bochum and Leganes and Como, they all stay. The random Bundesliga table that had Liverpool and Barcelona and Juventus, it did not go to Barca. It went to Liverpool by 1 point over Barca. Juve, a very, very close 3rd. Leipzig, not that far behind. Aston Villa in 5th, over Lazio, over Brighton, and over Celta. Hellas Verona, a top 10 finish. Ipswich Town in 11th, so they stay in the Bundesliga. Who gets relegated automatically will be Holstein Kiel and Auxerre, while Espanyol is going into the playoffs, while Empoli stay up. In Ligue, we had Napoli and Man United, Marseille and Arsenal. Arsenal won it in Ligue. Over Marseille, over Man United in 3rd, while Napoli took 4th. Monaco in 5th, Fulham in 6th place, guys, over Bologna and Real Sociedad. A very, very good campaign for Fulham, actually. The rest of the table looks like this. Strasbourg, surprisingly, and Angers automatically go down, while Hoffenheim, a very disappointing campaign, especially in a league like this, in a relegation playoff. In Italy, we had PSG and Chelsea, Newcastle United, and Atletico Madrid. Well, how did those teams do? Well, PSG won in Italy, with Chelsea right behind them, and Atalanta and Fiorentina in the top 4. Newcastle in 5th. A very surprising Wolfsburg in 6th, over Atletico Madrid, who went to 7th, and Palace in 8th. Bournemouth, 9th place. Not bad, actually. Over Gladbach, over Betis, over Parma. Southampton stayed up, guys, in this league, while Augsburg, St. Pauli, and Lecce, they did not. And finally, La Liga, maybe the league of death. Man City, Bayer Leverkusen, Bayern Munich, AC Milan, Roma, and Spurs. Well, that was your top 6. Man City, though, they won the league, 4 points over Bayer Leverkusen, Bayern Munich in 3rd, and AC Milan in 4th. Spurs in 6th, West Ham in 9th. Leicester City stayed up in 11th place, above Wolves, above Everton. Brentford barely survived. Look how close that relegation battle was. Now, that is what I call a relegation battle. 5 points between 15th and 20th, but unfortunately, Mallorca, Le Havre, and Real Valladolid, they got relegated. This was your Champions League semifinals in season 1. Arsenal versus Spurs, Man City versus Benfica. It was an all-English final of Man City versus Arsenal, and Man City won it. These were your Europa League semifinals. Man United over Galatasaray, Ajax over Union Berlin. The final, Man United versus Ajax, and Man United won the Europa League. And finally, your Conference League. Barcelona versus Panathinaikos, Nantes versus Fiorentina. The final, Barca versus Fiorentina. What a final. Barca 4-3 over Fiorentina. Fiorentina lost another Conference League, guys. Let's go to the end of season 2. We're gonna have some very interesting clubs participating in Europe. Season 2 of the top 5 leagues being randomized, guys. Back to the Premier League we go, where it's Inter and Real Madrid and Dortmund. Guess what? Real Madrid doesn't win again. It's Inter once again. What a season. 37-1, scoring 88 times on 97 points. Real Madrid in 2nd, but so far back. Dortmund is in 3rd, but also so far back. Forest, a 5th place finish. Rayo Vallecano, a top 8 finish. Burnley came up. Leeds United came up, obviously. So did Sunderland, but Sunderland did not stay up. Mainz and Arsenal's, their time also runs out. In the Bundesliga, it was much closer in the Bundesliga, but Liverpool still won it, only 1 point above RB Leipzig, while Barcelona, just like Real Madrid, not doing very well by their standards, I would say. They finished in 3rd place, but 7 points behind Liverpool. Lazio in 5th. Aston Villa, a top 6 side. Brighton is up there. Las Palmas and Udinese. Ipswich Town stayed up once again. Köln came up. They're going right back down. Empoli, unfortunately, they are going down. And Hertha Berlin, they're in a relegation playoff after getting promoted. In France, no competition. It is Arsenal miles ahead of Napoli in 2nd place. 14 points. Man United in 3rd. Villarreal in 4th. And Real Sociedad is in 5th. Fulham is staying in the top 8. Werder Bremen, they stay up in 11th. Hoffenheim, they survived. Montpellier survived, guys. Metz, they came up, going right back down. Lorient also came up, once again, also going right back down. How about in Italy? Guess what? It's the same winner once again, just like in all the other leagues. It's PSG, 3 points above Atletico Madrid. Chelsea dropped to 3rd, Atalanta in 4th. Those top 4, very, very competitive, very close. And then even after that, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, very close as well. Real Betis and Bournemouth, 9th and 10th. We had Crystal Palace, by the way, finishing 6th. They'll be in a European spot. They'll be playing in Europe in Season 3. There is the rest of the table. Southampton keeps staying up in the top division. Union Berlin gets relegated. Cremonese and Palermo came up. They're going right back down. But Spezia came up and they're staying up. And in La Liga, a different winner. It's not Man City this time. It is AC Milan. Yes, 4 points above Man City and 19 points above 3rd place Bayern Munich. Bayern did not have a good season, man. Spurs dropped to 5th. Leverkusen in 6th. Wolves, impressive, in 8th place. Brentford and West Ham in the top 10. Leicester City, they're staying in the top. Everton barely avoids relegation. Sporting, Deportivo, and Levante, they all go down. Now, I gotta show you guys something random before we go into the European competitions. I can see the cups in England. The semifinals of the FA Cup, it was Norwich versus Inter and Nice versus Middlesbrough. So 2 top division sides versus 2 championship sides. The final, Norwich versus Nice. Norwich City won the FA Cup. They're going to be playing in Europe in Season 3. All right, back to the European competitions. In the Champions League in Season 2, Real Madrid versus Inter, Bayer Leverkusen versus Man City. The final, Real Madrid versus Man City, and Real Madrid did manage to win a trophy, the UCL. But the Europa League was a little bit different, guys. As you can see, Spurs, they finished top. Aston Villa right behind them. Atletico Madrid is there as well. Newcastle and Roma, Villarreal, Rangers were there. Fenerbahce, Lazio, Fulham. Yes, Fulham participated in Europe and Nice had the last spot. The semifinals, it was Newcastle versus Spurs, Stuttgart versus Fenerbahce, and a club not from the top 5 leagues won the Europa League. Spurs lost 1-0 to Fenerbahce. But the Conference League was just something else, my friends. We had Brighton and Real Sociedad in the Conference League. We had Nottingham Forest in the Conference League. Yes. Frankfurt was there. Wolfsburg was there, although they did not do too well. The semifinals, it was AGF versus Nottingham Forest and Brighton versus Wolfsburg. An all-English Conference League final. Forest versus Brighton. Nottingham Forest 1-0 Conference League winners. These are the things that could happen if the top 5 leagues were randomized, guys. Off to Season 3. Season 3 is here and Real Madrid have finally done it. They won a league title. They won the Prem over Inter Milan, but Nice finished in 3rd with Lille in 6th and Forest in 7th place, guys. Bochum staying in the top league, guys. Sheffield United came up and stayed up. Luton Town also came up, but they're going right back down. And Osasuna, I expected so much better from Osasuna. They got relegated. Saint Etienne also. Liverpool are Bundesliga winners for the 3rd straight year, with Brighton though in 2nd over Barcelona. Man, Barca's been struggling in this league. Leipzig in 4th, Juve in 5th, Lazio and Aston Villa 6th and 7th. Stade Brestois top 8, not bad. Ipswich Town still staying in the Bundesliga. Hamburg came up and they stayed up. Espanyol, excuse me. UD Las Palmas as well in a relegation playoff. Darmstadt came up, bye-bye. But most importantly in the Bundesliga is Brighton. They're going to be playing in the Champions League. In France, it's Arsenal once again and again over Napoli and again over Manchester United, with Monaco in 4th, Marseille in 5th, then it's Sociedad and Villarreal. Fulham still staying a very, very competitive and good club playing in Ligue. Bologna in 9th, Hoffenheim and Toulouse are there as well. Bremen barely stayed up. Nantes barely stayed up. Montpellier did not stay up. Paris FC came up and they did not stay up. And Deportiva Alaves in a relegation playoff. In Italy, yep, it's PSG. Tied on points with Chelsea. Tied on goal difference with Chelsea. But PSG still takes Serie A. Wolfsburg, though. Yo, Wolfsburg, 3rd place with Atletico Madrid. Also not having a great campaign here at all. Playing in Italy against all these other random clubs. Newcastle in 5th. Atalanta in 7th. Not great. Crystal Palace and Fiorentina dropped off. Bournemouth in 13th. They stay up. Southampton stays up. Augsburg. Wow. Behind Spezia and Salernitana and Sassuolo. And finally, La Liga. It's Manchester City. 100 points over Bayer Leverkusen, over Spurs. 22 points ahead of 3rd place. 28 points ahead of 4th place. Bayern Munich dropped to 5th, but West Ham United in 6th place. Conference League spot. You see what I mean? Random clubs playing in random competitions. Wolves and Leicester City, they both stay up. Sevilla stay up. Everton stay up. Mallorca, Stade de Reims, and Cadiz, they do not. Mallorca, also disappointing. By the way, you guys want to see who won the FA Cup in Season 3? It was Valencia versus Athletic Club Bilbao and Forest versus Lyon. It was Valencia versus Lyon, and Valencia won the FA Cup. European spot for Valencia. Forest, Man United, Juventus, Napoli, and Spurs all participated in the Champions League, but they did not do so well. The Champions League semi-finals: City versus Dortmund, Bayern versus AC Milan versus City, and City won it. In the Europa League, look at this table. Newcastle in 1st place. Real Sociedad in 9th. Crystal Palace was in the Europa League. In 11th, they qualified for the playoffs. Lazio and Nice were there. Aston Villa was there as well. There's Norwich City. Norwich City, they missed out by 1 point. They didn't make it out of the league phase. Oh my gosh. But the semifinals were very interesting. Frankfurt versus Lille. Marseille versus Villarreal. Lille versus Villarreal. And Lille won it 3-2. And finally, the Conference League. Who did we have in the Conference League? Well, we had Freiburg there. We had Wolves there as well. Yes. Rayo Vallecano, and we had Monaco. The semifinals, though, it was Celta Vigo versus Aberdeen and Arouca versus Sparta Praha. And the final was Aberdeen versus Sparta Praha, and Sparta Praha won the Conference League. If you are a Sparta Praha fan, there you go. Season 3 saw Norwich City playing in Europe, Lille winning the Europa League, and Sparta Praha conquering the Conference League. What's gonna happen in Season 4? All aboard for Season 4 in the Premier League. First, it was Inter that wanted back-to-back seasons. Now it's Real Madrid that wanted back-to-back seasons. Domination. 19 points ahead of 2nd place Dortmund. You know what? Nice actually surprises me, man. They've been very, very good. 3rd place, above Inter, above Stuttgart, above Lille and Lyon, and Athletic Club Bilbao. This is the rest of the table. Leeds United, they stayed. Nottingham Forest has kind of dropped off a little bit. Burnley have also stayed. Coventry City came up, and they stayed up instead of Bochum. Sheffield United, Venezia also came back up, but they got relegated. In the first 3 seasons, the Bundesliga has been dominated by Liverpool, and it's no surprise here either. It's Liverpool once again over Leipzig, over Juve, over Aston Villa, while Barcelona, so bad this video, honestly, I would say extremely poor, only in 5th place on 65 points. Lazio and Brighton 6th and 7th. Ipswich Town, a top 8 finish in this division. It's pretty good, I would say. Dusseldorf is gone. Hellas Verona is gone. Hamburg relegation playoff. But in France, Arsenal does not win for the 4th consecutive season. It's Monaco that win, and Napoli is in 2nd, with Arsenal dropping to 3rd. Man United once again in that top 4 finish. Marseille and Real Sociedad, Bologna and Fulham again in the top 8. Hoffenheim is there. Nantes is there. Metz and Lorient came up again and went back down again. Italy, well, this is a surprise. It's not PSG. Newcastle United over Atleti, over Chelsea, over PSG. Chelsea. Wolfsburg in 5th in a Europa League spot. Atalanta in 6th. Fiorentina and Real Betis are there as well. Palace, a top 10 finish. Bournemouth stayed up in 12th. Southampton keeps on staying alive in the top division. Union Berlin barely stayed up. Cremonese, Palermo do not, and neither does Sassuolo. And La Liga also has a brand new winner. Not Manchester City, not AC Milan, but Bayer Leverkusen. Over City, over Bayern, over AC Milan. Spurs in 5th, Roma in 6th. Wolves in the top 8. Brentford and Everton and Leicester, they all stay up. So does Getafe. Real Oviedo, Almeria, and Real Valladolid, they are gone. Check out these Carabao Cup semi-finals, guys. Forest versus Sheffield United. Bristol City versus Dortmund. The final, Forest versus Dortmund. Forest won the Carabao Cup. Back to Europe. The Champions League in Season 4 definitely had some surprises. It was Dortmund on top with Benfica in 2nd place. Real Madrid in 3rd. Wolfsburg in a top 8 spot. So does Spurs and AC Milan. There is the rest. Nice is there. PSG and Inter did not have great Champions League campaigns. Brighton finished in a playoff spot. So did Arsenal. Napoli did as well. Barcelona in 23rd. RB Salzburg got the last one. Leipzig, not great. Atletico Madrid, 32nd. They went winless in the entire Champions League campaign. The semi-finals were still, though, PSG versus Barca and Dortmund versus Liverpool. The final, Liverpool versus Barca, and Barca, as disappointing as they've been during their league season and in the UCL campaign, they won it. The Europa League. Let's see what happened here. Bayern Munich, 8 wins from 8. Top. Lazio, Real Betis are there. West Ham United, 6th place. Okay, Valencia, also top 8. Aston Villa in 13th. Athletic Club Bilbao is there. Marseille and Newcastle United also qualified. Real Sociedad did not, and that's the rest of the table. Your semi-finals, West Ham versus Athletic Club Bilbao. Aston Villa versus Valencia. The final, oh my goodness. West Ham versus Aston Villa. It was an all-English final. Aston Villa won the Europa League. And now the Conference League. It was Villarreal on top and Brentford in 3rd place. Stade Brestois and Forest are there. Atalanta was there as well. Who else was there from the top 5 leagues that we had? Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone? Nothing? No, that's it. Your semi-finals, Atalanta versus Brentford, Forest versus Villarreal. The final, Atalanta versus Villarreal. Villarreal Conference League winners. Really cool to see Nottingham Forest participating in regular European football. And Aston Villa with Villarreal winning some European trophies. Off to Season 5. Let's see what happened in Season 5 with the top 5 leagues still being randomized. In the Premier League, it's not Real Madrid in Season 5, but it is Inter Milan over Borussia Dortmund, actually, and Lille hopped above Real Madrid and finished in 3rd with Athletic Club Bilbao in 5th and Nice in 6th. Nice has been very, very good in this video. Como, also a top 9 finish. Nottingham Forest, 12th. Kind of disappointed in Stuttgart. I thought they would at least be qualifying for Europe in this league, but no, they haven't. Leeds United, they stayed up. Osasuna, Coventry City, and Hull City all went down. The Bundesliga, oh my gosh, in Season 5, we finally have a brand new winner. It's Juventus on 72 points. It's not Liverpool. And Brighton in 2nd place. Aston Villa also hopped over Liverpool into 3rd, while Liverpool dropped to 4th. Stade Brestois in 7th. What the heck's going on with Barcelona, man? 8th place in this league, below Stade Brestois. That is unacceptable. Ipswich Town, very impressive. Stayed in the top division. Hamburg, relegation playoff. Schalke, automatically gone. And Las Palmas, also gone. And a brand new winner in Season 5 in Liga in France as well. It's Napoli over Arsenal, over Marseille, and Real Sociedad hopped into that 4th spot. Monaco dropped to 7th, while Manchester United in 6th place. Toulouse in top 8. Bologna and Angers rounded off the top 10. I thought Fulham would be a little bit better, but 11th place, I mean, mid-table. Not that great, I would say. Strasbourg and Montpellier automatically gone. Montpellier only won 2 matches. And Hoffenheim in a relegation playoff. A random Serie A also has a brand new winner. Chelsea. Newcastle United in 2nd. Look who's in 3rd. Bournemouth, up the cherries, baby. Come on. Atletico Madrid in 4th. Wolfsburg in 5th. PSG dropped to 6th. Atalanta in 7th. And Crystal Palace in 8th. Freiburg in 14th. Real Betis in 13th. Southampton stayed up. So did Union Berlin. Augsburg, awful. Pisa and Sampdoria, they came up, and Sampdoria were terrible. Bro, what a campaign by Bournemouth, though. 67 points. Come on. And in La Liga, oh my gosh. This is even more random. This is more random than Bournemouth finishing in 3rd. Guess who won the league? Wolves. Wolves, 1 point above City, over Leverkusen and Spurs and Roma, Bayern Munich and AC Milan in 6th and 7th, West Ham in 8th, Leicester and Brentford and Everton all stayed up, Levante, Deportivo and Tenerife, they all went down. What the heck is Wolves doing winning this? The Champions League Season 5 table, it looked like this. Atletico Madrid, after all that struggling in the league, they finished top of the UCL league phase. Not bad whatsoever. Real Madrid only in 7th. Nice, 5th place, man, in the UCL. Liverpool in a playoff. Barca is in a playoff. Chelsea, Arsenal, Aston Villa, Newcastle also in a playoff. Inter Milan in 21st. AC Milan in 23rd. Monaco didn't even make it. Neither did Stuttgart. Oh my gosh. The semifinals, it was Dortmund versus Juve, Bayern versus Arsenal. Both of them went to penalties. The final also went to penalties. It was an all-German final. Bayern versus Dortmund, and Dortmund won it. Your Europa League table in Season 5. Lille, 8 wins from 8. Marseille and Spurs, 2nd and 3rd. Brighton in the top 5. Man United also in the top 8. Young Boys are in the top 8. Okay, over Lazio and Villarreal and Real Sociedad. Your semifinals, it was Genk versus Lazio and Lille versus Spurs. Genk versus Spurs, and Spurs won the Europa League in Season 5. And now the Conference League. FC Twente was top with Hearts and Bologna in 3rd. Frankfurt and Forest also in the top 8. Nice to see. Fiorentina missed out. Ipswich Town. How did Ipswich Town get into the Conference League? They must have won the cup in the league that they're in. Where are they? In the Liga? I think they're in Liga, right? Oh, okay, well, there you go. They're 14th place, so they qualified for the playoffs. Ipswich Town won the playoff against FC Nordsjælland 4-3, so they went to the round of 16. And they beat Hearts in the round of 16, guys. Ipswich Town in the quarterfinals, but they lost 3-2 on aggregate to Bologna. They bottled it. That's what Ipswich Town did. They had a 2-0 lead going into the second leg, but they lost the second leg 3-0. The final, it was Frankfurt versus Forest, Twente versus Bologna. Twente rocked Bologna. Twente then rocked Frankfurt in the Conference League final, and Twente won the Conference League. We've done 5 seasons. We saw how the leagues played out. Now I want to show you some of the biggest deals. Valverde, he was at Bayer Leverkusen. I guess he left Real Madrid, but now he's at AC Milan for 144 million pounds. Osimhen left Napoli for Inter Milan. Andre Santos joined Manchester United. We had Alphonso Davies leave Bayern Munich for Real Madrid. And we had Rodri leave Manchester City for Bayer Leverkusen, while Gravenberch left Aston Villa. He was at Aston Villa, and now he's at Spurs. Declan Rice was at AC Milan. I guess he left Arsenal, but now he plays at Lille. And Enzo Fernandez already left Chelsea. He went to Newcastle, but left Newcastle for Man U. While Victor Gyökeres obviously left Sporting, went to Chelsea, but then said, I'm not playing for Chelsea no more, and went to Juventus. These transfers are actually crazy, man. Lautaro Martinez from Inter to PSG. Francisco Conceição was at RC Lens, but now he's at West Ham United. While Davide Fratesi was at Dortmund already for some reason, but now he's a Brentford player. Actually, Newcastle looks kind of stacked, guys, because Frankie de Jong, I don't know why he's at PSG, but he left PSG for Newcastle. Rico Lewis left Man City to play at Borussia Dortmund, left Borussia Dortmund to go back to Manchester, but to Manchester United. Barcelona signed Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa, and apparently Lookman was at Arsenal, but now he's at Lille. Conrad Harder is a Bournemouth player, and Levi Colwill, he was at Borussia Mönchengladbach, okay, now he's a Crystal Palace player. Yo, Rafinha, not a Barca player, not an AC Milan player, he's a PSG player. Noni Madueke somehow ended up at Everton, but then somehow ended up at Barcelona. These have to be the most random transfers I've ever seen in my entire life. Liam Delap, he went to Villarreal from Ipswich Town, but then ended up at Atalanta. And Locatelli ended up at Bournemouth. Omar Marmoush said, I'm not not playing for City anymore. I'm going to play at Nice. And Lee Kang-in said, no more PSG for me. I'm going to play for Aston Villa. I don't know what kind of journey Randall Colomuani is on, but he went from Crystal Palace to Monza. While Fikayo Tomori, Brighton and Hove Albion, somehow he was there. Now he's at Fiorentina. And De Ligt left Manchester United to play at Brighton and Hove Albion. Absolutely incredible 5 seasons with all the top 5 leagues being randomized. We saw some crazy winners. We saw some crazy transfers. Wolves winning the league in season 5 was definitely the cherry on the cake for me. But let me know what surprised you guys the most. Thank you guys for watching. As always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, stay happy, stay healthy, always keep smiling. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button with the little noti bell, of course, so you don't miss out on future videos like this. And if you have other cool ideas that you'd like to see on the channel, please comment them down below, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon. All right, peace, 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 peace.